Hello, everybody. It's Thursday, September 12th, and I'm day weather meteorologist Don Watzel with your Day Weather Podcast. Here's what's happening. We have a mixed bag of weather conditions expected over portions of the Rockies and High Plains in the next few days, and one of those components will be some cooler mountain temperatures coming in today and tonight, which will lead to a little bit of higher elevation snowfall. An incoming wound up storm system from the Pacific Northwest will also lead to some scattered showers and thunderstorms through Friday. This will include the threat for some severe weather, especially over the far northern tier around parts of Montana and North Dakota. Might even clip extreme portions of northern and northeast Wyoming, especially this afternoon and early tonight. Then, as everything kind of simmers down, we will have some seasonal to warmer temperatures this weekend after a brief cool down, but we're still on schedule for some additional systems to come next week, and that could lead to a more sustained period of cooler temps resembling early fall, especially Tuesday through Friday of next week. Before we get into the details on the home front, let's deviate briefly and look at the tropics. Francine officially became a hurricane yesterday, with additional disturbances and depressions still forming over the open waters of the Atlantic, verifying the active hurricane season that's been forecasted all summer long. As Francine continues to make landfall in the Gulf Coast today, it is going to provide for some extremely high rainfall amounts, not to mention high storm surges and the high risk for flooding. This is a 3-day precipitation map through early Saturday. It actually came out Wednesday with some additional revisions in the meantime, but you get the idea of the heavy rainfall amounts. Generally, about 4 to 8 inches of rainfall expected from the coastlines of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida coastline, extending northward through the rest of Mississippi and Alabama, extending towards western Tennessee and parts of the Missouri Valley. This could be a conservative estimate, with some localized amounts possibly getting up to a foot of rain. As Francine becomes a tropical storm again, it separates into different systems. The threat for severe weather will increase, including the potential for some severe thunderstorms and even tornadoes as it continues to move northward and make landfall. Back in the home front, including the continental United States, we still have a trough of low pressure that's going to advance inland through western Wyoming midday today and then extend northward into northern Wyoming and parts of Montana by tonight and continuing northward, retreating back into the southern prairies of the Canadian provinces by the end of the day Friday. And this trajectory is actually going to help keep the remnants of Francine from moving too far north, keeping it consolidated over the southeastern United States. And this is the projected forecast of the upper level winds and jet stream by Friday at around 6 p.m. It's all being aided by some amplified troughs in the eastern Pacific. As we zoom into the northern Rockies and High Plains, this is a 48-hour precipitation forecast through 6 a.m. Saturday. And as you can see, that incoming storm system will be very beneficial for those fighting the haze and smoke from the past several days and those western United States wildfires. Now, of course, the nature of thunderstorms, not everyone is going to get the rainfall and certainly not the same amounts. But if we do get some significant rainfall amounts, it will put a damper on some of the wildfires that are going on and certainly help some of the firefighting efforts. Unfortunately, there is a flip side to this. With potent jet stream winds spinning east and northeast in the vicinity of this system, it could provide for a late surge of some strong and severe thunderstorms with the risk for severe weather, most notably central to eastern Montana, and we're actually going to extend this out through parts of western North Dakota. Large hail, gusty winds, and of course, heavy rain showers will be threats with some of the stronger thunderstorms that develop. As we talked about, there is some cooler air with this system, especially aloft in the mountain areas of western Wyoming, Idaho, and southwestern Montana. Temperatures could be cool enough for a little mountain snowfall, most of it occurring during the day today and early tonight. This, of course, is from the American GFS model, which tends to have a wet bias, and that, of course, certainly applies to some of the potential rainfall amounts. But regardless, it is showing the possibility of some mountain snowfall, especially around Beartooth Pass in northwest Wyoming and southwest Montana. Minor snowfall amounts, but nevertheless, a reminder that that season is quickly approaching. If you don't get the impacts from rain or snowfall, you will likely get some impacts from some strong and gusty winds as that storm continues to wind up and create a tight pressure gradient and a dry sector over central and southeastern Wyoming through parts of Colorado and the Dakotas. We do expect some pretty stiff winds to develop, with the concern for some moderate to high wind impacts for travelers along parts of Interstate 80, even parts of northern I-25 and sections of Interstate 90. Wind gusts could potentially exceed 45 and 55 miles an hour. That will apply for Wyoming 28 South Pass as well. Temperature anomalies for today, looking at much cooler conditions in the vicinity of that storm system. Temperatures 5 to 15 degrees below average here, but still very mild, 15 to 20 degrees above average in the northern high plains. In between, readings are hovering a few degrees near normal. Fast forward to tomorrow, some of those cooler temps will advance eastward, with a cold front expected to provide a modest cool down over the northern Rockies and parts of the Continental Divide as we close out the work week. Looking ahead to the weekend and beyond, we're still calling for some more tranquil weather Saturday and Sunday as we get weak high pressure to develop in the southern plains. But the long range forecast has been consistent, with additional systems ready to drop southward over the west coast and affect parts of the Intermountain region by late Monday through Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And again, all of this being driven by amplified high pressure in the eastern Pacific and the open Pacific waters. Thanks for listening and watching, everyone. Have yourself a great Thursday. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.